Hey, welcome. Welcome back to episode 8 of the Nurse and Nurse Show. I am Noah, the Nurse, and I have with me my co-host.
I am Barbara, the nurse.
That's awesome, guys. I hope we all, dude. This is episode 8.
I know.
We've been doing this for 2 months already, right?
I know. It has been good. Now, this weekend was a challenge for us because we were trying to. We always like to record Friday nights. I happened to go somewhere, and then Saturday I went out with my husband, and we had tickets somewhere, and Noah had to work a full day. So, but anyways, we took a little nap, and we're good to go.
No, just so y'all know, we had message threads that we set a date for Friday evening.
We did.
And I did come home. I got set up. I set up all the equipment. We're ready to rock and roll. And I've never been stood up in my life before, but
especially by his mother.
I got stood up by my mother.
One constant in his life. I went out with some, actually, they're my nursing friends that I've known over 20 years. And we happened just to go out, go eat. And we kind of always take it a little longer, not too late. But I got here at 10. I felt so bad. Noah had all his, I told my husband, oh, did he set up? He goes, yeah, he had everything set up. He put everything back. And then I told his wife, is he mad? And she goes, yeah, he'll be all right. and then the next day, Noah texts me, are you alive? And I'm like, yeah, what's wrong? And then he said,
no, I was like, oh, I thought you died because you never showed up.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I felt really bad. So anyways, I truly just got to see him today. And I was like, but we were at church, so.
Yeah.
And I mean, what can you tell me at church? I'm like, say something.
I'll forgive you. So this episode, I wanted to kind of hit on dive into a specialty because I know there is a lot of these nurses out there, and they don't get the recognition that I think they should get.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And we're talking about geriatric nursing. So geriatric nursing, when you hear it, I think of nursing homes, right? I think of these long-term care facilities where, these older people go and this is where they spend the rest of their life, at the end of their lives, right?
They're like the elephants. When the elephants, die, don't they just go somewhere and
and dogs too, but we put people in nursing homes.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, but no. So the main idea is I just want to I want to know more about it, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's the unsung hero, the unsung warriors out there fighting the good fight. Because we hear ER, ICU, just hospital nurses doing crazy awesome things, right?
Yeah.
But you're not gonna be young forever.
No,
you're not gonna be young forever. So what do you do?
And you know what's crazy, Noah? A lot of people in the past, nursing homes were just when when the elderly couldn't take care of themselves. But it has become literally like a step down unit. Nursing homes, skilled units, because we got skilled units in nursing homes.
Yeah,
we're doing wound vacs, we're doing trachs, we're doing. We tried at ours to do TPN, but I know that's very difficult with lab and all that. But you do a lot. It's not just like, oh, we're just helping them with their ADLs. ADLs just helping them go to the restroom. This and this. It's not like that at all.
Yeah. So I got a couple questions for you. Okay, I just want to figure out what is geriatric nursing? If you hear that, what are you thinking of, and what is, because you have over 25 years of experience
working in nursing home.
Exactly. So what would you, if I was someone who didn't know nothing about this, and I said, hey, Barbara, what is geriatric nursing? What is that? What do you do? What would you?
Yeah, and I looked it up. I looked something up just to kind of give you an idea. They consider geriatrics, which is like age 65 and older. And they say because 65, that's when you can get your Medicare. Okay. So nursing homes are not just your regular, I'm a check mom in, for life. That's it. It's also skilled. Like you always have this one hall that's skilled, and it's like they come out of the hospital. When you say
skilled, what are you talking about?
Like they're coming from surgeries, from they need therapy. I'm gonna be honest. Back in the days, you got a lot of people that had surgery on their knees, on hips, but they're keeping those in the hospital a lot, which is good. Okay, and so, but the ones that come to us is because due to like for it to be covered on, like on your Medicare stay, you have to do at least 1 hour of like therapy, like physical, occupational, or speech. At the hospital, you have to do 3 hours, and a lot of the older people, they can't do 3 hours, so they get kicked to us.
And so if you don't do it, like so that's based off Medicare to pay?
Yeah, to get paid. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, and so like I said, you get a lot, and nowadays there's a lot of like psych, a lot of homeless.
I remember when you told me about that. Like it's like you have you used to work in a locked unit, right?
Yeah.
And I can just imagine.
I broke out.
I can just imagine like
it's been a month.
I can imagine what it's like back in that unit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And because because I would say that it's not showy. It's not like very like very blingy. Like somebody wants. Oh man, look at that job. I want to do that. Yeah. Would you say that? That's true.
No, and shout out to every person that works at a nursing home, and I'm talking from housekeepers. I'm talking from dietary, but we're speaking about nurses. Because I'm just gonna be honest. Like me, I had a hall, and when I'm full, I was 32 people, and like in the front, you get about 32, 34. You're it. So, you really have...
Wait, you had 32 patients
Yes.
And just you.
Yeah, and there are times where I'm being honest. Of course, you have a medication, and it's true, the elderly take a lot of medicine. There are times when you are the med aide. Like I would always wait to shift change. I did 12 hours because they would do 8 hours, and I would always go look at the book, and I would always say, "Hey, where's so and so? Have you seen her? Anyone seen her?" Because the first time you've been burned. One day I sat back there like 4:30, close. Yeah, just in my chair, like And then I said, "Hey, has anybody seen so and so?" And then I went to the front because I was always in the back, and they said, "Oh yeah, she called in." And I'm like, so I was there a little longer, passing meds out, but it can be shout out to all of them. It can be hectic. It's not just, I'm just sitting here. I'm taking your grandma to the restroom. It is care. It is treatments. It's wound care. It's
I can just imagine
calling the doctors.
Especially you hear those horror stories of those that get these pressure ulcers, right? They go into the hospital to get treated, and they come back and the pressure ulcer isn't gone. Like it's still there. And so now it's up to y'all to nurse them back to health. Yeah, and then and the CNAs, if you're lucky, I was lucky. I had 2, but it's just I would just say when you're to geriatrics, you really have to be organized. Like, well, of course, I did it so long. I do it with my eyes closed. I already knew what had to be done. I was very organized. I knew when I made sure I did this, right off the bat, because you never know, you're gonna get admission, and admissions are admissions. I don't think any nurse really wants them. And don't they always? It don't matter where you work, at a hospital or a nursing home or assisted living or wherever. Don't they always come like at the perfect time?
Right when you're getting your stuff together.
Your elbows deep, cleaning up a code brown, and they're outside. They're like, "Hey, are you the nurse for 15?" Like, yes. They're like, "Well, we have your patient." We're like, "Dude, what the heck? Like, you should have called me your mission."
I know.
They're like, "You weren't answering." I'm like, "Well, do you see why I'm not answering?"
Yeah, and so that and I'm not gonna lie. I know you can get. Don't get me wrong. That's our job. We love it, but you always want to. You're just there for at least 5 seconds. You kind of go.
You start thinking, do I need this job? I really need this job?
I'm going to go buy some more scratch-off tickets today. But yeah, because, it's a lot of paperwork. I think the majority of it is, yes, the assessments, but it's a lot of stuff on the computer.
It's all paper. You have to keep track of everything. Like, I know you've always said, if you didn't document it, it never happened. Yeah. So you're making sure you do it every, dot your I's and cross your T's. Exactly right.
This nurse attempted numerous times to give resident psych meds. Resident told me you can quote, and you're slamming on the keyboard. And I had one that was like real silent, but I still made it. Resident said, quote, you can beep this, and your mama, and you ugly, and I hate you, end quote. And then you sit back and reread it.
Continue.
We'll continue.
We'll monitor.
We'll attempt another time later. We'll notify doctor in the AM.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So I know we think of, hey, nursing homes, right? Mm-hmm. That's where you can do this.
Yeah.
There's other places to do this, right?
Yeah. Like assistant living. I worked there for a little bit. Okay. And the thing I liked about a assistant living that was so different in nursing, because when I went from nursing home nursing there, like for example, someone fell and right away, I'm running out, assessing them, vital full head to toe assessment if they cut themselves. Yeah. And I already, when I first started, I was all trying to, I was going to call the doctor, and my boss was like, you don't do that. And I talked to a friend of mine, as a matter of fact, Cheryl, shout out. She works at assistant living, and she told me the same thing. She goes, I went and someone said, hey, so-and-so don't look good. She goes, Barbara, her blood pressure was like 88/50. She's kind of sitting there. So she goes, because she's been a nurse just as long as me in nursing homes. And she goes, right away, I want to call the doctor. And they tell her that's not the policy. Yeah. You call the family. The family is the one that does the blood pressure, does the logs. Wow. So she said, inside you're like, I was all, girl, did you have like one hand on 911? And she goes, yeah, the family came. They're like, oh, we did her blood pressure. She perked up. It's now 90/60. And we're like, okay, a little advice. Maybe you call your doctor, but yeah. So
can you lay down, prop your feet up, get some water?
Yeah, and just put your living will on top of your chest for
the
next day or two.
Do you have a DNR? Can you make sure? Let's put that on your wrist.
Yeah, let's go ahead and post your paperwork and on a tack on the wall because. But yeah,
you have a power of attorney. You have a power. So I know we've talked about this. A little side note: when you have people that are in a nursing home, they're coming towards the end of life already. Do you recommend like having like living will or power of attorney lined up and
let me tell
go?
You why. Because I also did the office. I did admissions. I helped families with that. The process of doing Medicaid. I'm going to tell you, I don't know how many times families come in, and let's say you're applying for Medicaid, and Medicaid is basically they pay for your stay, their state, and I can tell you how many times. Family mom never told her kids, oh, I have a policy and it's in the, it's in my top drawer or it's in the folders can is all the papers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I know people don't like to talk about this. Always try to do, and especially if parents are getting like kind of up in age to living at home. Don't hold out. Get power of attorney over them because when you go and you admit them, you need all this paperwork. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are not on the power of attorney for medical or for financial, you will never be able to get into the banks.
Are you serious?
You will not be able to get information. And it is, it's doable, but
it's just a battle.
It is a battle. Oh my gosh. And speaking from our own experience with my grandpa, when my grandpa, he had dementia and he had to go, to a nurse home, and my grandma applied for Medicaid. And I'm just telling you there, his living brothers and sisters had to sign off on some paperwork. And I know my grandma was, I remember she had to go take it to his family, and explain and sign. So just keep a folder, do that. I know it's a little pricey, but you know what? You can find someone that can do all of that. Cause let me tell you, in the end, and you won't, it's hard. And especially if they have a diagnosis of dementia, Alzheimer's, forget it. Yeah. You can't. So just, and it's not, I know that people want to talk about that, but that's kind of, geriatrics. Okay. And of course it's the same, and I would suggest this because I would do this to my parents. Whatever town, city, however many you have, do a list, look at the ratings, go over there, do tours.
You talk about the facilities.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. For your family. And if you see something, just go back on the weekend and see how it is. Because you'd be like, wait, where's they offered me Pierre water when I came. What? Well, now they said they got no cups and they're busy and leave. But no, yeah. So, geriatric nursing is not for the faint of heart. You get a lot of frustration. Yeah. And it's only because, I'll be honest, it's a lot of work and a lot of times.
But there has to have been some like really good times.
Oh,
some really
yeah,
moments
yeah.
that you just... Yeah. Like you come home and you're just like, you feel happy, you feel joyful, right?
Yes.
Can you remember any one of those moments for you?
Even now I've been at my new job and this is going on a month already. This is my 4th week
Okay.
tomorrow. And I was thinking about some families before I left. I was thinking about them the other day, a couple of families that I got real close to. And that is the best when they come and they tell you things like, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're working. Because the other one, and I just laugh and smile and stuff because But I sometimes you think, oh man, who's noticing or whatever. But I miss those moments. And this one lady I was real close to, I took care of her sister, and she was a nurse, old school nurse, 30 years. I mean, she ran a unit, and she would always tell me that. And I always felt like she was like my instructor. Like she always made me feel good. So yes, you get close to, I mean, working in geriatrics, you get to know them. I know, like with you, you see them, and then, you go back and they're not there.
Yeah.
Or something, you just don't know. Are they leaving? You never know. Did they ever rehab well?
Yeah.
Whatever happened at their home life?
Exactly.
Yeah. And in here, I get to see them. And like I said, and I took care long term. And it's nice. You get to know the ones, the families are involved. They're not, always buying them little extra stuff.
And when you say not involved, like, are you talking about like they just maybe come on Easter or like these holidays?
Yeah, or they may not. Yeah, and you don't judge. You don't know what type of mom or dad or uncle or whatever, whoever the type of people they were. But I just see it as the now. Like, I know many times we would. I used to always bring this lady a soda or chips or whatever, and she would always make me laugh because she would be like, "I know I have money," and I said, "No, honey, like I'm the one bringing you all this stuff." And she was dementia. She'd always fight with me because she would be like, because she was in jail, used to be in jail. She goes, "I know it's on my commissary, and you stole my commissary." And I'm like, okay, but I took care of dementia also. But I would laugh and I would be like, okay, but I would always bring her soda. But I mean, I'd be sometimes like get expensive because she wanted the real Coca-Cola. She didn't want no HEB off-brand. But that's a good thing when you get meet their families, meet their great grandkids, or meet their sisters or whatever. That was always fun. Build a rapport with them.
Okay, so I got one more. So I guess what will be the biggest downside or like some of the hard stuff you have to deal with? Kind of guessing it's dealing with the end of life with these people, right?
Yeah, it's but after a while, I mean, it's not like you're just like immune to it, but like I was always told by one of my my DONs, old school, shout out to the ones that were like the old school ones, I remember she'd always tell me, it doesn't matter, Barbara, if they're private pay, if they're state funded, if they're here indigent or whatever, you treat them all the same. You treat them all the same. You never know. You don't know their stories, just because, you may hear, because, there's been times, nursing homes, like from the jails and stuff, they'll get people that they're too old to be there and they, they'll time served. And we've had those that were like, child molesters or whatever. Yeah. And you just don't judge. You give them the same care. And I've always me when it was that was kind of my favorite, and not, I don't want to say favorite, but like when they were already on their way out and they didn't have, I had family, I made sure that family had whatever they needed. I'll bring little carts out with, and of course this is nursing home, drinks, and I remember like cookies, a little care card and whatever, because I know their family's leaving. And I know that they're always going to be up there. Of course, family members that never see them, they're coming, whatever. Can you check their blood pressure? And I could, and you being a nurse, it doesn't matter towards the end because they're going out. But if that's going to make them feel better, I'll do it. Yeah. Hey, can you check their temperature? Even though towards the end they're going to have a spike fever, I'm going to do it. I put a cool cloth. I just do stuff like that, and that's one thing I like.
It's the small stuff.
Stuff.
You're showing them that, hey, I'm giving them the care as if I would want the care.
Yeah, just holding their hand.
They're already going through probably a worse moment of their lives, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what this very last end.
Especially if it's the mom.
I can imagine. You've probably seen some, very horrible deaths, like people who in fear of that last moments, and I bet you also seen some very peaceful moments when they pass. You can just tell, right? Yeah, that they're just at peace. Right?
Yes. And that's something I think, like I said, I know nowadays it's different with, people like, there's so many rules, I mean, not rules, so many, but I personally, I have always gone up to them and, we'll talk about Jesus, if that's because if they're still able to, but I'll just hold their hand and I will whisper, you're fine. Your family's going to be fine when they're the ones that die alone. We're here. You go and you rest. You lived a long life. So to me, that was kind of special about End of Life, because it wasn't like you going to the ER and someone suddenly, chaotic car accident. I'm able to see it and work the process. Yeah.
And okay, so would you have any advice for anybody out there who even are thinking about geriatric nursing? What was some advice you would give them?
Yeah, don't do it.
I'm like,
that
was not where I was going.
I just want you to know, nowadays it's just a fact. You're gonna have short staff, but you just have to push through it. It is a very rewarding job. Of course, nursing is, but in nursing, very rewarding. And my advice would be, and of course, everyone's going to call on a sick day. We all do it. But just, when that day happens, push through it. It is rewarding. Don't take it out on anybody. They're humans, and you know what? And my motto has always been, this day shall end. This too shall pass, and you get through it. And
you're like, okay, yep, it's that time right there. I'm done. Bye, guys.
I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna sit here with my work bag and just wait for the next shift, even though we're 5 hours off.
Oh man, well, thank you for giving some insight with the whole geriatric nursing. I know we can't really hit a lot on the topic.
It's a lot,
but it's always because I would like to bring up an episode about coding, running the code, and I'm guessing you've ran some codes in.
No, that'd be a good one.
So we look forward for that one.
Yeah.
But so real quick, have you heard about what's going on at Aspen University in Arizona?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if those of you don't know, this is a nursing program out of Aspen University, which is located in Arizona, right? So pretty much the school just went and just like, that's it. They lost the accreditation.
And when I was reading up on it, so they surrendered their nursing license back in September 22.
They lost it all. So all the nursing students who are already there, they get dumped to the side. And so, you've gone through nursing school.
Yeah,
you put your sweat, tears, blood, more tears into this nursing school, and all of a sudden they're like, hey guys, you're done. Like, and nothing carries over.
Yeah,
nothing. So
that's what I'm saying.
You would have to restart all over again.
It's your money, it's your time. I mean, you just having to go to school. It's like going through that.
I wouldn't do it. I want to go back in 2 years.
I mean, isn't that sad?
No, it sucks. But it's pretty awesome news though. The Arizona State Board of Nursing, they voted on Tuesday to accept an amendment that would be added to the agreement already in place between the board and university. Pretty much, long story short, is they are allowing these students to finish out.
Yes.
They are allowing this cohort to finish out and get their nursing degree.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome because one of the students was saying that it's worth it. Whatever it is, it's worth to contact your legislators and contact your governor, get everything you need and fight for your license, fight for what you're going for. And because I know we do try to tell people, hey, join the ANA, join the Texas Nurses Association, because I mean, we are underrepresented. We have nurses everywhere, but it seems like we aren't lobbying for ourselves up in the state.
Yeah, like we should. And there's so many.
And like I said, these students contacted their legislators. They contacted the governor, and they were able to actually get approval to where they can finish their stuff, so they wouldn't have to start over again.
And I was reading also. So I guess what happened was every college, every university that has a nursing program, they have certain standards they need to meet for pass rate when they take their test at the end, the NCLEX.
Yes.
And I had read that back in 2022, their pass rate was 63%. Now I was looking at Noah School, Texas Lutheran University.
What I said, hey, sometimes people just ain't got it.
Yeah. And I was looking at Noah School. He goes to Texas Lutheran University. And I was reading they have a 90% pass rate, and the first time. That's what I mean. I mean, like I said, hey, you're not gonna always pass the test the first time.
Nope.
That's normal.
Nope.
It's like anything, like because it's very hard. But they were just saying, like Noah School, they have a pass rate of 90%. the first time they take it, 90% pass, and that within 6 months, 95% of the nursing class has a job.
Yeah.
So they look at that stuff because that also can be also like where you would go to school at, because when you see that, you're going to say there's good instructors.
Exactly.
There's good leadership. So
Yeah. And they're doing something right.
Yeah.
But like, that's really cool. Like, that's awesome for Arizona that all these nursing centers are going to be able to finish out and go on and do better things.
Yeah.
So I don't have much left. I do have a quote that we can leave with you. It's, if you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. So saying, you may not be the next brilliant engineer that's gonna make us travel outside space. All right. Or you may not be the next scientist that develops a cure for some crazy disease.
Yeah.
Right. But you can do where you are right now. Yeah. Great. You can take just like we just talked about it, doing the small things of just combing a patient's hair who's already on the last legs, or just putting a cool cloth, or just washing their face a little bit. 'Cause I remember yesterday in the ICU, one of my patients, full stroke. This is her sixth stroke. Like her whole left body is paralyzed. Her left arm is contracted. She's on she's on the ventilator. She's on a feeding tube, and she's not there. And before we finish, I'm gonna give a shout out to Stephanie. If you ever watch or listen, which you better, because I gave you a card. But
yeah, Stephanie, his mother.
No, but I just saw her say, "Hey, can you give me that comb behind you?" And I wet the comb for her. Yeah. And she combed her hair and made her look very presentable. And she's like, and I looked at her. I said, "You know what, Stephanie? It's the small things that people's notice that you do that just shows you caring for them. It's just it's something small, but it's actually really,
and I
really
think
great.
A lot of people, and especially in nursing, you think who's going to notice, who's going to care, but someone's seen.
There's always eyes, and that goes to the bad thing too. Even the bad things out there, people are always watching. So yeah,
and there's cameras everywhere. I got a good quote too. I know, like y'all know now that I work at the jail. I do not judge. I do what I have to do. There's a lot of like young kids that remind me of my young son that go and have so much empathy for them. But I know there's a line I can't cross, like, oh. Yeah. But I think I told Noah, our husband or something, but it so happened one morning, this quote popped up on Facebook and it reminded me of jail nursing. And it says, and it's by Billy Graham. Anyone know Billy Graham? He was like I'm sure he's sitting next to God. He was awesome, very powerful man of God. And he quoted, "It's the Holy Spirit's job to convict. It's God's job to judge, and it's my job to love." So I have to remind myself that a lot, and I'm sure y'all do too when y'all take care of someone. It's not our job.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Hey, just real quick. Remember, I don't even know this, but TikTok has been going crazy right now. There's a whole bunch of nursing memes. It was just hilarious. Yeah. I saw one that it said the veteran nurse is talking to the new grad. It's like the veteran nurse tells the new grad, "Hey, don't worry about that patient. The patient just DC to JC." And the new guy's like, "What are you talking about?" And then it shows a picture of Jesus. I was like, "Oh my God." Yeah.
It was funny, right? Because he had that confused look on his face, like, what is yes.
And it's like, oh God, he discharged to Jesus Christ. That's what's just going on now. But that's all we got for time for today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. We always have fun with y'all.
Pass this around. Let people know. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, like I said, send us an email. If you have questions, you got ideas for topics. Like I said, we would love to have you. If you want to be on the show, send an email. Like I said, we can get you on the show. You don't have to be here in person. You could be over the phone. We got everything figured out.
If you want to tell us a story, we'll do a shout out on here.
Exactly. So, that's all I got. Yeah. Like I said, we're ready for the next episode, and you have a great one. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.